All right, so it's 20 to 6. Pick up sticks. Um, we can do a little streaming tonight. Shorter one tonight. We'll probably only go for about an hour and 20 minutes. And yes, I have started streaming. We're going to continue debugging our physics calculations for moving the player around before we kind of got to the point where we'd finished the refactor. However, there were still some outstanding things to do around bugs with calculating the correct velocities and whatnot. So we're going to use Visual Studio Code today, and we're going to use the debugging tools in there. And we're hopefully going to get, in this allocated amount of time, we're hopefully going to get to a point where our character is running around the screen smoothly. If you look at the way things are working now, let me just go into Vim so I can run the project. What's happened there? Why is that going up there? Okay. If you look now, we can enable a map editor and draw some tiles on. And then when we move, I don't know how kind of visible it is on the video, but essentially the player's position isn't getting updated properly, and that's because we're not calculating the velocity correctly. The other thing that's happening is the player is continuing to walk even when I've taken my finger off the keyboard. So what's happening is that velocity, I think, is being set. I think there's two issues. Firstly, the velocity is not getting set correctly, and then it's also not getting updated correctly after it is not set correctly. So we're going to try and work out as much as we can for this, and hopefully get to a point where our character is moving smoothly, and furthermore get to a point where this is going to be kind of like the template for calculating these velocities for any other entity that actually needs to move. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I've set up my debugger, and I'm going to execute here, and that's going to show me that, and we've got our project running, and then I'm going to get into the state that is causing an error or that is not working properly, and I'm just going to set my breakpoint here, and we're going to go through this again. So force is 1.5. Got our acceleration state, which is 0. This calculates a velocity. We get the player's current velocity and add the acceleration to that. The acceleration is 0. Then we invert that velocity. And then we apply that to, I think it's, yeah, okay. And then we apply that to the temporary velocity. We clamp the temporary velocity. Yeah, I think I've actually worked out what one of the problems is here. I think this algorithm assumes that we'll never have a negative controller state. And thus we won't have a negative acceleration. Like, we shouldn't ever have... Yeah, the acceleration will actually be... can possibly be a negative value, which is probably not right. We probably don't want that. The acceleration should always be positive, I think. Let me just check again Tom's suggestion. So Tom, who is contributing and helping me with a few different things on this project, is posted the algorithm that he recommended, which seemed pretty solid. So we're just going to go back and have a look at that. Oops. So it's this one here. So oh no, he does actually set the minus the force from the acceleration. Okay. Okay, that's okay. So maybe I haven't worked this out. So we have the force that's getting applied, the acceleration, So this temporary position will flap around, I think. Yeah, so the... Okay, so that's huge because it's... the frame took ages to render. Yeah. Okay, so I think that milliseconds thing is working, which is good. So I'm fine with the force calculation. I think... So if the acceleration is 0, and the player has a current velocity, we then apply then invert that velocity and multiply it by the damping.
Oh, you love it so much. You love the bath.
378. So this damping. Temp velocity. So we invert the velocity and multiply it by the damping factor. And then we add that. So that has slowed down. Yeah. So that has slowed down the velocity, adding the damping to it. So that is good. That's what I would expect. Then we clamp it here. And then again, so we update the velocity. So that becomes the new velocity, 1.24. And then we update the position. Okay, so why doesn't that eventually damp down? Is what I don't understand. Yeah, so that's flapping around because the force. The force is. So this time delta milliseconds seems to be perpetuating the acceleration. Actually, no. No, the acceleration is correct. So that velocity, That velocity is 7 there, whereas when we set the velocity, okay, I wonder if, alright, so let's go down to here. So temp velocity at this point is 6.5, player velocity, okay, so that is right. Temp velocity 5.9. Okay, so that's working. So the velocity is 5.9, 5.3. Okay, so that is actually 4.3, 3.8. Okay, so that is actually, I can just press F5 as well. That is actually dampening, or dissipating rather. 2.8, 2.5, which is exactly what I would expect it to do 1, 6. Yeah, okay, so that actually looks Oh, there we go. Okay, so what just happened then? So that went from... Okay, so something is happening with the velocity. All right, so we slow down. There we go, slow down to 2.2. And then when we get less than 1, something causes it to go back to 9.4. Okay. Okay. Why is it doing that? That is really weird. All right, so temp velocity there is 1.4. If I was to put that there, .3. Okay, it's going to be... Okay, something here has set the velocity back to 10. All right, so that's part of our problem. Maybe this... That's setting it to 10 there. Okay, so let's just do that again. So let's just wind this all the way back down. Okay, so found player, acceleration. Okay, hang on. I'm not doing that correctly anyway. All right. All right, so step over is F10. So the temp velocity is still that. 10. Okay, so how is this set to 9 now? Because the temp velocity last run was... Damping is that. But that has gone to 9 all of a sudden. What's happened there? Is this not working? Am I using the wrong operator here? Okay, let's go through again. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so all right, so that one. All right, so step over. Okay, step over. That still looks fine. That still looks fine. Step over. Okay, it's this here. something. Okay, it's this operator doesn't look right, possibly. Am I using that operator incorrectly? SF vector to F. Let's just see if what does it multiply? Plus equal. Member-wise addition and assigns result to left. A member-wise addition. So how do we end up with 9? That's kind of what I would expect it to do. Yet we're getting 9. That's not what I would expect it to do. So 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay, so damping that, temp velocity that, and then to 9. Actually didn't mean to do that. Okay, so it'll be this one, and then step over. Might be some sort of precision issue, perhaps. Could be a precision issue. That is really not what I would expect it to do. Is there... Alright, let's... What's an INL? Okay, so I'm assuming that it's running this left, right, pass it in. I feel like this could be... I mean, that's what I would expect the method to do. I feel like there could be some... Is there some sort of rounding issue or like a floating point issue or something like that? Feels like it could be a floating point issue. I just don't even know... Adding two floats gives result. Well, that's because of... Yeah, well... Okay, so yeah, so this is going to go into the whole thing about floating point numbers. What I kind of really need to know is if that is that actually what's happening here. Yeah, see the problem with it being a floating point issue is I wouldn't expect the value to just go up by like a factor of 10, which it seems to be doing. That might be something that happens in C, like the C languages in this situation, but I've certainly never seen it before. So I'm not actually 100% confident that at this stage that this is a floating point issue. I don't think it is because, well, I don't know. I really don't know. It could be. Continue. I'm kind of interestingly... We'll say I'm kind of interestingly stumped on this one at this stage. Let's do that. It'll be this one. Negative 1030363. Positive 030363. Okay, so interestingly, those numbers are insanely close. Like, really, really close. Like, identical, pretty much. Which makes me really, really think that this could be a floating point issue. And then this will step over, this will come out to something else. This will come out to 9.27. Yeah, I really do think this is a floating point issue. I wonder if I can use Compiler Explorer to verify this. I haven't really used Compiler Explorer, but its domain name is godbolt.org, which is kind of an awesome domain name. Alright, so just as a... I don't know if I can actually... The way this is notating the number, I don't know. I don't know if I can even... Can I just paste that in as like a literal? Let's find out. So that's... Alright, get down to... it'll be this one, I think. I don't know if this will work. Copy that. Yeah, I don't know what Compiler Explorer will think about it. Like that, with that notation, I don't think it'll work. So we get that. Oh, okay, so I didn't actually... I don't know if I can even do that. Yeah, I don't have to put the little 8.h. I don't know. Not sure this actually execute the code. Yeah, I might be barking up the wrong tree here. I've never really used this before, and tell ASM syntax. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is the output. All right, so this might. Okay, so it's complaining that main isn't there. Okay, so printf. Can I just do add like that? I don't know how to use std cout add. Can I do it in main? Was the problem I wasn't doing it in main? Okay, that worked. And it returns 0, which is exactly what that's exactly what I would expect it to do. Program returns 0. Or is that actually, is that is that the exit code? Hang on. Well, that's not even the correct operator. So we're more interested in this operator. All right, so what's it complaining? Why am I doing it like this? Let me try putting this in here. So that's not. Do I have to tell it that this is a float? No. What's it complaining about now? Oh, can I not? Okay, so that works. Oh, I think it's because... Yeah, I think it's because I was using the... What if I just get rid of that? Okay, that works. Aha! Yes. And that is... Yes. Okie dokie. So that is what I'm seeing. That is exactly the problem that I'm seeing. So I think this is a floating point issue. I think. Yeah. 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 This is a floating point issue, I think. Okay, cool. All right, so we've identified the problem. That's half the battle. So how do we... What just happened? Oh, I think I... Yeah. Okay, that's really good. Now, how do we fix it? Okay. Yeah, that's the next question is, how do we fix this? So I suppose one way of doing this might be to use rounding. So we sacrifice a little precision for sanity. Float round. Round float to 2 decimal places to n decimal places. So we kind of lose precision here, but it's okay. Like it doesn't. In general, this task is impossible because IEEE 754 conversion is the representation of float in binary, either float or double. Does not exist in general because you only have a limited number of bits. Right, fair enough. You may reduce the amount of bits. Not defined in a decimal system. Printing a floating double precision number, there is converting binary to decimal floating point calculation. There are two things here you were doing. One, calculating the rounded value of a number, and two, printing that number, calculating the rounded. Okay, I don't want to round float to okay, so that's printing. A lot of people talking about printing. Okay, a lot of people giving different ideas on things. Let's create a function like this. Oh, string stream, really? That doesn't, why would you do that? This looks a little bit 37.779, 37. Floor F. Can we do that in C++? Yeah, I mean, I guess we should be able to, right? All right, let's close this. Go back to here. Project X. Player controller, it's actually in. Oops. Player controller. All right, so we've got excuse me. Temp velocity. This one here. Okay, so I guess then what this might look like, something like this, where temp velocity.x actually, what was, let's just go back to that example quickly, if I can find it. Float round. Actually, before I even go down this path, let me just make sure that that actually works here. Program returns 0. Okay. 2, 3. Yep. Okay. Okay, so it looks like 4 decimal places is the limit. No, I'm still getting it. 3. Okay, so let's try and round to 3 or 2. That seems to be a little bit more reliable. Yeah, okay. So, C++ F round. I think that was F round. I think. Stood seal. To round a double up to round. Doubles don't have. To be output as a string. Oh, okay. Factor 100. Round by 100, divide by 100. I think that's what this guy's suggesting. Okay, so around temp velocity x by 100, and then divide that by 100, and then add that to the damping. Add that to the damping. And then we should there's like a proper math.h. Just use the C. Is that happy with me? Alright, let's try that. Okay, built. That's always a good sign. Player controller. Alright, so here's our regime. Okay. Alright, so it's still doing it, which is unfortunate. I wonder if it's not really noticed any sort of change in behavior. Let's just see if Or is that what the clamp does? Actually, wait a minute. Am I already doing that? No, I'm not rounding it. Okay. Okay, so that just is staying the same now. It's not different enough, perhaps. Or maybe I can't. Wait, I don't want to do this because I can't build from here. I really need to set up this debugger a little bit better than what I've got. So maybe they're not different enough. Maybe they're not different enough at that point. I don't think. Let's just increase the precision. The other option is maybe we have like a bounds check. We have to do some bounds check and say, okay, there must be a way. There must be a way around this problem. I can't be the first person that's tried to figure out a floating point, a decimal, IEEE floating point issue. There's definitely a way around this issue. Just not quite sure what it is at this point. Yeah, I think it doesn't really matter how. I'm not quite sure how we're failing at this point, actually. Like temp velocity there. Oh, that just never changes, huh? That's just always. Hmm. Maybe we should do it in this clamp, possibly. So we clamp min max value. Maybe we just say it at some point or another. Do we have to say if it's less than something? It just make it 0. So the max would be like 0.09 or something. Clamping for floating point. We could do that. Just clamp it again after that. Just have the... Yeah, so let's just try that. So if we clamp it there, and then like we say, so is it min max? Yeah, min max. So the minimum would be 0. And the maximum would be like 0.009. I guess, I don't know. Oh, this only accepts ints, I think. Oh no, it's floats. Okay, good. Oh, no, actually, we don't want to just clamp it like that, though. We kind of just want to make it 0. Yeah. Dot x is less than 0.009. And temp velocity dot y, or wait, temp velocity of x equals 0, and then let's do the same thing for y. Don't know if this is a good solution, don't even know if it'll work. So if it's less than that minuscule number, just 0 it out and then update it. Did I build? Probably not. Okay. Well, he stops walking. Doesn't walk right at all. But he stops walking, so that's getting zeroed. Okay, so the damping, I'm thinking, has to be a lot higher. Where was that again? How soon? I think it's in the reducer. So the acceleration. So damping can be like 1, maybe. Okay, that's broken it. Maybe not quite as a severe increase. Okay, that feels pretty good. That's stopping when it. That's stopping pretty much on a dime, as our North American friends might say. All right, so as far as I can see, minus the fact that he's not actually moving, that's working in the positive in the negative axis. It's not working, but in the positive axis, it is. So, okay, so let's look at the. All right, so that's. All right, so let's leave that there for now. And we'll call that a little bit of progress. That's good. I'm still not convinced that's the best way to do it, but I don't know any other way, and it'd be really nice if someone would pop in and tell me otherwise. Regardless, so saying if it's not 0 walking. Okay, so that's if either of them aren't 0. See, I would have thought that'd be fine. Because it doesn't get, maybe because it doesn't get zeroed going back the other way. Try that maybe. No. And furthermore, that seems to have... No, okay. That seems to have broken the other. Alright, so... Okay, so I'm not sure about that then. I kind of want to know why this position isn't getting updated though. Let's continue to debug. All right, so the clamp. Okay, so we kind of need to debug this. Okay, so temp position. Rather than debugging this, it might be easier to see it over time. So let's try that. Speaking of time, we're not doing too well. We've kind of made progress, not as much as I had have hoped, but we've kind of made progress. So I feel like we have made progress because we've definitely identified that issue. Need to think a little bit about how we're going to do this though. So let's, in the house scene reducer, this one, update player position. Stood cout new. So I want to see what position we're feeding in to this. And I kind of want to see it sort of happening over time as it has stood and L. Something changed there? No. Oh, okay, whatever. Build. Okay. So that ramps up to 20 and just stays there. Isn't that interesting? Really? That ramps up to 20 and stays there? Huh. Oh yeah, it totally stays there. So because because of this width thing. Right. Yeah. 16 multiplied by 4. I think that's... Let's just do that for now. Yeah, there we go. Okay. That interestingly doesn't... Okay, so doesn't seem to be updating the view, perhaps. Huh. Okay, so we probably need the... Yeah, we need the map bounds. We need the proper map bounds in here. This won't work like this. So we need the proper map bounds in here, and it also doesn't seem to be setting the view properly. If the editor is not enabled. That's gone back to that 20 limit thing. I might just not do this. I might just ignore this clamp for now, because we could probably survive without it, because we don't even, that won't even, interestingly, that won't even be the final calculation for that. It'll be something else. So reducer.update player position. That'll have things to do with rooms and stuff like that. So yeah, that final calculation there is not right. It's plain and simple. So if we just make this temp position here, like that. So this shouldn't be affected by the clamping thing, which it doesn't seem to be. I still can't move negatively, which is a bit annoying. Okay, so the view seems to be moving, but not the player. Set house view center. House scene reducer. Does that move? Should we be moving the view rather than no? No, that definitely not. Okay, so what? So that, I'm going to assume that that's the right view call. So that's okay. It looks like the player's position is updating, but they stayed nailed or rendering at that spot. Is the sprite updating? Why would that happen? What is going on there? So the position is definitely updating, but it always seems to be rendered at 0, 0. Rotation and Right to draw set origin, set position. Entity dot position. That looks right. I can't actually figure out what's happening here because if I place a tile there and move, what it looks like is the whole view is moving. Or like the... Or like the tile is moving. The tile, but the player's sprite is not centered. It's almost impossible to tell what's... We're probably out of time for today, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I think we'll probably have to leave it there for today. Yeah, next time we'll definitely... I don't know why that... Yeah, we need to figure this out, obviously. Moving right moves the player left. Or it seems to be moving the whole map left. So the view should always be centered there. Surely that wouldn't matter. It's not quite rendering it. No. No, same thing. Yeah, so we're not quite sure. Yeah, that one's really annoying. Anyway, it'll have to wait until next time. Okay, so we've certainly worked out that damping issue. Next time it'll definitely be getting the player moving correctly with the background, and then after that we'll get the negative axes working, and then at that point we can get back to what we were going to do originally, which is to be using the map editor and to be able to define these rooms. So if you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. comments and questions, I'll always check if you have them in the comments thing. And I will see you guys next time.